Welcome, everyone, to episode 312 of the Constantly Calibrating Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Josh Silverman, joined by my co-host, Justin Stanley. How you doing today, Justin?
I'm doing great, but you're really leaning in that voice.
I'm not. This is I have no control. I'm sick right now. Sora had his first week of school last week. He got me sick over the weekend. Lost my voice. The only thing keeping me going is these incredibly ridiculously strong cough drops that our buddy Hunter Bond recommended to me. And they have benzocaine in them and an assload of menthol. And
he knows his cough drops.
He's my con dad. Every event, he's like, "Honey, you sound a little like." She doesn't say "honey." That's what Kevin says. But he's
con dad.
He is, but he's like, "Hey, you seem like you're having a tough time with your voice," and he just drops like 5 cough drops in my pocket as I walk by.
Yeah,
it's like,
you see him out at a bar, he'll bring you in under his wing. He's always a good. I love Hunter.
He's a good con dad. But Justin, how you doing?
Myself, spirits willing, body is bruised and broken.
Your choice to work out for the first time in a while, right before this podcast, was an interesting one.
Good idea.
It was because I'm kind of I want to get back in shape this year. Like my gut has grown. It's made me sad. I've been getting fatter. People have noticed. I mean, granted, kind of funny when I was on Games Daily, people call me a fat Steve Carell. So,
oh no!
People said I looked like people said I was the lookalike to a certain person whose initials are CM. Really the kind of funny.
That too,
so,
but anybody who pops in that chair, they say that. Basically, I'm at a point where I'm like, I gotta do something about this. So I actually decided to check out a couple gyms, and I went to a title box of places, and they're like, "Hey, you can come over for a free class if you want." We got one at 5:30. This is at 5:15, by the way. I'm like, well, I'm across the street. Yeah, I'll run and grab some stuff and try water. So I ran home, got some stuff, ran back, quickly got together as the thing was getting ready to start. And I just jumped in for a 45-minute intense ass workout that I mostly hung in there for. I had to take a couple breaks, but I haven't worked out in well over a year. So my body is going to be making some weird noises all night.
I mean, sir, you survive and do what you need to do to make it through this podcast. That being said, you might see we also have our special guest right down there. We have Chris Souza, the founder of Pixel River PR, and you're just a longtime friend of the show. And you're finally here on an episode after we've kind of danced around it for a little over a year now. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well, man. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you.
I've known about you guys for. I think I met you at PAX South 2018.
That might have
years now. Yeah,
that might have been the
first one.
So I wasn't. Let me think for a second. I was at PAX South 2019. 2019 was my first PAX South. I still think I met you at a PAX West a while ago. When you were with Stride, I think you were filling in for someone else at a booth. Okay. I'm pretty sure we met because you look like the person I think I met, but it was also a busy PAX West kind of thing.
It was I was at Brawlhalla's booth at PAX West 2018.
All right,
2018.
Okay.
Sorry, 2017. 2017. Yeah. Time is going by.
That might have been the year we kept swinging by Brawlhalla.
We've swung by
giving shirts out to everybody. We're just throwing them away, basically.
Yeah, we were old friends with Brawlhalla once upon a time, so we used to spend a lot of time by their booth annoying the shit out of some of the people who worked for them. So
I got a great team.
Yeah, they're good. But so you're here to we're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff tonight. Before we get into, because we have a major announcement we're talking about that I've been hyping up. But before we get to that, I want just so people know who you are a little bit. Krista, tell our listeners, our viewers, a little bit about yourself, who you are in this video game industry, this PR world.
Okay. Well, I'm Chris Souza. I started out back a long time ago, about 2015. I really wanted to, write about games as every college kid wants to.
Youngins.
Those youngins, no sense in the world. But as you know, it's a bit hard to make it as games press.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most competitive industries I can really think of, because it's so easy to start, but near impossible to stand out. So Yeah, it's very hard. So I wanted to find a way to, make a living in games, but not have to worry about being a freelancer anywhere. Because even if you are, a programmer or a writer, being a freelancer is stressful. Especially, I mean, as you know now, people are even getting even stronger, strong-armed even more by the government by being a freelancer. Like they're kind of changing the taxes on that a little bit.
Well, yeah, the laws it's AB 5 in California, I think is
Yes.
yeah. So there's a lot of that stuff going on right now, and it's there's a strong reason why I went from I guess I'll do some freelance PR last year to I need to either start a company or join a company and get a full-time job.
So do not quit my current job. I don't like it. Start freelancing and like it
depends what the freelance thing you're doing, and depends specifically on what it is.
It's possible. Like, I don't want to make it seem like like give up and settle, because that's definitely not what I did either. I found a way to continue my passion in a way that was a little more fiscally sound, and I could see a path rather than being like I could freelance for years and hope I can get somewhere. But as you know, even then, you have to move, and like I'm very happy here. I live in New England, and I love it over here. I'm not sure if I'd want to up and move over to California to join one of the bigger, outlets anyway.
I mean,
yeah. So anyway.
Makes sense.
Oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I respect people who can get up and move like that, but like, I'm married now, and it's kind of we're kind of comfortable in our corner of the country.
I completely understand that. I mean, I don't understand it because I'm not that, but I understand why people do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2019 was our desperation breaking point where it was just like, yeah, we want to stay here, but also job, God, just have me move people. Hi, hello, help, and like no. Yeah. So
and then, I mean, and some organizations really help with that kind of uplifting the cost, obviously for transport, moving to a different state and getting some sort of bonus check is always nice. But as of right now, I'm staying here, and I wanted to back then as well. So I was looking at different remote positions I could have. Pretty much find any way I could stay where I wanted and work in industry and travel, because those are like if you know anything about me, it's games and traveling are like my two things.
Sure,
that I really love. And coincidentally, PR kind of helps with that. So I reached out to a PR agency. Friends of the show as well. I know them. Another they know both of you very well is Stride PR.
I actually work for Stride PR now.
Do you really?
I do.
Okay. So
I started there a couple months ago. I haven't actually formally announced it anywhere really yet because I'm only part-time. But yeah, no, I work for Stride, and that was one of my funny things about tonight. I'm like, got a former Stride person, and it's part of the reason for some of these announcements we're going to be talking about in a little bit. So
I see. Okay.
But yeah, so you contacted friends of the show, Stride. Go.
Yeah, so I reached out to them at PAX East 2017. There was a woman that was working at the Death Squared booth, and she kind of told me all about the gig and what PR was about, because I always wanted to get into it, but I didn't really know too much.
Sure.
My degree, it was completely irrelevant to the games industry. I was going to be a speech pathologist for kids with autism, and that may still happen in the future. May go back to grad school one day, but
my wife is a board certified behavioral analyst, usually working with kids with autism. Awesome. She actually quit that field last year, but like that, you're just listing another field, another similarity here, as it were.
Yeah. See. So I followed up with Rob Brown. He's the CEO of Stride, and he's always happy to kind of bring people under his wing and kind of, show them the ropes of the industry. And he gave me an opportunity that was great. I got to work with Brawlhalla, which I was already a big fan of. I worked with Sinner Sacrifice or Redemption. I worked with over a dozen titles there that were really like, it was the most, we'll say, exciting year of my life. Like everything just changed. I was just like, I'm actually in this industry. I learned so much. I met a bunch of people. I met pretty much all my biggest acquaintances from the industry while I was at Stride. I met you. I met everyone. I mean, the team from Stride is just beautiful human beings, management and elsewhere. But
well, that was
basically got
I was like, that was my joke about joining the team. Was it's like for me, I knew all of Stride when I joined, and there was just this moment where I'm just like, is it weird that like half of my colleagues are former drinking buddies from events? Like,
now before half of them were, but now 100% of them are. So like you're gonna be going out with them anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's essentially how it works out. So I get that.
It's weird to be the new guy, but also like a close friend, you know? It's a weird balance to mix.
It's having, again, someone I'm friends with as one of my managers has been a learning curve. Particularly, I'm in the weird position where I'm an old guy, old by game industry standards, you know, mid-30s. So it's like being the old guy as the new guy to company. Yeah, pretty much. If you're over 25, yeah, exactly. So as someone mid-30s, it's like, okay, you youngins and you're doing these things kind of stuff. So, but it's interesting.
That's why I just like I love Jared Petty so much.
Oh yeah,
because I kind of mentioned too. He's like, I always kind of wonder if it's too late. He's like, well, it's in my late 30s, man.
Look at Sean P from Evolve. He started also late 30s or even early 40s. I don't remember exactly, but it's totally a viable thing.
It's possible. You don't see it as often, but yeah, it's definitely something that can happen.
You don't see that as often because society teaches us that once you reach a certain age, you should know exactly what you're doing. Here's a spoiler for you young people or you older people out there or you same age as me people out there. You're never too old to do anything whatsoever. You can change your entire life on a dime if that's what makes sense. If it's within your means, do it. My wife again dropped her entire career last year to stay at home and do art, and now she's making TikToks. Apparently, it's an experience. It's all.
Are you in these?
She put out her first 2 TikToks yesterday. So, but she's doing art. Like, but I'm just saying, like there's options to do stuff.
Also, for the younger people, high school doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. It teaches you stuff, but in the grand scheme of things,
just don't mess it up. Really, like it's not really that important if you don't mess it up. If you mess it up, it's going to be a little hard to do things later. But.
Exactly, but don't fuck it up. But also don't if you're not perfect at everything. Yeah, whatever. Again, I'm just joining the game industry. I barely made it out of high school because I just stopped showing up one day, and I'm a 3-time college dropout. You can figure out your life. And figure out what your path is. Don't rush. Got a little philosophical on there in the middle of you talking about.
You're right though. Like this is something that I think people struggle with all the time. Like especially in the industry, in the games industry, like you're seeing a lot of people who are just kind of like switching over to it, or like, hey, I'm only been in it for 2 years, but I have a job at IGN now. It doesn't really matter your age. You should always kind of just pursue what you want to do, especially because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then you're just wasting time.
I was going to say, Josh likes to hold his dropouts like a WWE former champion. Like, we just regained a title. It's like, I'm the three-time college dropout.
The 3-time college dropout.
Well, here's the thing. I actually realized I'm now actually technically I'm actually a 4-time now because I did try to go to college a couple of years ago. Again, I tried to make a return secretly without telling anybody. Turned out that was really stressful. But no, the reason I dropped that was actually I got a job opportunity while I was there, and it was like stay-at-home dad, constantly calibrating, going for a degree, and a brand new job, and it was like something's got to give here, and the kid couldn't go. I was obviously I wasn't gonna. I mean, maybe theoretically, but I wasn't getting paid enough for this. I wasn't getting paid enough for this new job to get like a nanny or something. No, I make jokes. I make jokes about the kids. I do sometimes.
It's like, Rory, you were at time on the table.
He's 5 now. He understands. He gets it. No, but like you as we were saying, we're circling around. Like you make your choices, but you're not beholden to your original choices. You don't have to. You don't have to do what you said you were going to do on that college transcript. Or that college email that you sent when you were 18 years old. You are not beholden to still be doing that when you're 25, when you're 30, when you're 40, when you're 50, when you're 70.
Yeah, and it's okay to sidebar things. Like if you want to say, hey, like this is really good. Like I got my degree. It's awesome. but let me try some stuff with games for a bit. And like, I just put that aside, and I still have that experience. I can go on to grad school with that. It's, and I don't know. I mean, you're saying that you were a 4-time dropout at this point. Like I took a semester off. Like it's important to like find like what's important for mental health as well as like kind of my future. So, it's totally fine.
Yeah. Well, the short version of mine is I just made it. Everyone tried to talk me out to go to college right after high school, and I'm like, nope, I've gotta do this. This is what I gotta do. And I had reason. It was related to my mom's health and stuff like that. I'm like, I gotta become a college graduate before she's gone, kind of thing. And it's dumb. Just dumb planning. Like it was the stupidest reason. Whenever you hear somebody say the dumbest reason you can go to college is because everyone's telling you to, that also counts for when everyone's telling you not to, and you're trying to do the opposite. There's a two side to that. You got to go for the right reasons, but who knows sometimes what those reasons may be.
Exactly.
But all right, so talk a little bit about you introduced. So
I got off.
No, you're good. No, you're good. People got a little introduction to you because I wanted to do this announcement thing. Constantly Calibrating has this tendency that whenever we have big news and big things, I always think to myself, oh, I guess let's just have a friend or a guest on, and we'll just do it then. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. You were lovely enough to be like, "Hey, I'm totally cool coming on for this show and talking about it with you guys." So it was like, let's put this together. Let's put this show together. But I wanted to make sure before we launched into that, people knew at least a little background on you, so you weren't just the random guest and then talking about stuff.
Yeah.
But let's do it. If you were in our Discord at constantlycalibrating.com/Discord earlier today, you've already heard this, but bye. That's
anybody who follows today, thank you so much.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. Constant Calibrating, we are shutting it down. So the shortest version of it is, because I'm going to put up a little video on social media and stuff, but the short version of it is that we went on a hiatus last year in 2019. After PAX South, I was super burnt out on it. I wanted to end the show. I wanted to, right then and there, I wanted to plan out. We were at episode 292 or 293, and I said, episode 300, we're done. I have a plan for it. Justin convinced me, said, nope, let's take one more pass. If we're not happy at the end of 2019, then we can discuss calling it quits. So we took that hiatus. That hiatus lasted till June, July, I think July-ish. And we came back. We did some episodes. Episodes were good. We were enjoying it. Something just but I still felt burnt out. I still felt not happy. For those who've been with Constant Calibrating for these last 8 years, we have a lot of baggage. There have been people who have left. There are people who we've had falling outs with. There have been, we didn't know what we were doing in the early days, and I never burnt a bridge in my career, but there are definitely some bridges that needed some rebuilding here and there, just because I was new and young and didn't know stuff. So Constant Calibrating has all this baggage associated with it and has all these aspects to it. So Justin and I had a talk and thought now at 8 years is a good time to maybe take a step back. People kind of know Justin and my names as well as some of our other, now former team members. They know their names better than the actual brand. So why not do something with that? So this episode, Constant Calibrating Podcast, is episode 312 on March 10th, which is literally, it's a Tuesday. It is our 8th anniversary. We will do our last episode. We have, including tonight, 5 episodes of the show left. After that point, you'll still find that on iTunes. You'll still find it everywhere. I'm going to keep paying whatever fees to, minimal fees to keep it up on platforms, but that'll be it. Justin will keep doing the catch-all. Because he'll keep doing the catch-all, and I'm not going to be leaving podcasting entirely, because here's the thing you might remember. I'm rambling. It's supposed to be more discussion, and my heart rate's a little up, so I'm a little rambling.
No, just keep going. I mean, this is natural. Do it the way you want to do it.
Yeah, at the beginning of this year, we did a podcast with our friend Kevin Wallace, and that podcast had zero planning. It was literally, Kevin said, I'll come on the show for the first one of the new year, and that show was discussion and talk, and I realized, oh my god, this is what I missed out of podcasting. After that 2-week hiatus for winter break, I'm like, this is what I missed. So I don't want to be done with podcasting. I just want Constantly Calibrating to kind of be behind and to be its own part of my life. And Justin agreed with me. What's up?
We're done calibrating.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's the thing.
You're calibrated, baby. You're good to go.
This gun has to shoot at some time.
Yeah, at some point, like we have figured out everything. We have figured out all that we need to figure out. So we're gonna leave Constantly Calibrating behind. And Justin and myself, just the two of us, we're not going to do any of the big team stuff that kind of got us in weird, not trouble, but like weird, shaky hill. We're not going to do any of that
situations.
stuff.
Yeah.
Weird situations where we're like, we were trying to be the next Rooster Teeth, and then we were trying to be the next Achievement Hunter, and then the next Kind of Funny, and then we were trying to be a big representation to get bought by one of these places. Like there was always these reasons.
Trying to be a bunch of other things that we just weren't. Not that like we can't do it, because we actually had like high production content. We actually had like highly produced Let's Plays with multiple cameras and switching. It's just, that's not us.
It's not us, and it never made sense. And honestly, they were higher quality than we were able to market. We were spending so much time making stuff that we never marketed, so nobody really watched it. Yes, we made friends in the industry, but there was that issue. So the idea now is we have 8 years of experience. We've been doing this for a while. Justin and I work well together. So we are officially going to be launching in March Bear Punch Media, which is, if anyone knows the history, if anyone knows the history of the Bear Punch name, go back and listen to episode 294. I want to say 294 is the one with Justin, maybe 293. Go listen to that episode if you want to understand the history of the Bear Punch name. It's a cosmic joke that we're going with this name, but it works. It's applicable to Justin and I. It has history with being new. We're gonna launch that. Bear Punch Media is gonna have the catch-all underneath it. We're gonna be not yet soon announcing another brand new show, which will be kind of one of our 2 tentpole shows. Catch-all's gonna be one. This show will be the other. And I'm gonna still be doing podcasting, except instead of doing stuff that I left the catch-all because with my new job at Stride, I was worried about potential conflicts of interest.
Yeah.
Reviewing games is hard, particularly when you work for a company like Stride, who does the PR for so many games. I was worried about constantly having to say, give the transparency speech. So I left the catch-all for that reason, left it as a co-host, and left it to Justin to do what he wants with guest hosts. But this new show won't be.
Viking funeral, but like I'm still alive on the boat. You like let it go and launch the fire.
Yeah,
you just don't see what happens with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, but less fire, probably.
Maybe
theoretically.
See you tomorrow.
Hopefully,
we will see. So Justin's be doing that. I'll be hosting this new show that we're going to announce soon, and it'll be Justin, myself, and guests. And we've already recorded a tester of it, and without exaggeration, it's literally my favorite thing I've ever done. It is my absolute favorite podcast I have ever done in 8 years. Was the joke tester that we did that we don't want anyone to listen to. So
we might.
You gotta release it eventually, right? I mean.
So yeah,
train, baby. You don't have to.
Yeah, we have so much content that's never been released. So no, but we'll release it in some capacity. I'm going to tweak it and make it work for what the show's going to be. So yeah, we'll have more information on this new show. We'll have more information on what Bear Punch Media is and stands for. But yeah, Constantly Calibrating. 5 more episodes of the Constantly Calibrating podcast. We're going to do maybe a handful of other things here and there. Relay the Constantly Calibrating. Excuse me. And yeah, to anyone who's been a fan for 8 years, or for 8 minutes for that matter, thank you for being part of this ride. Thank you for the support and the love. Thank you to every person who's ever come on as a guest. We'll be talking about this on Twitter, but if there's any people you want to see in these final 4 episodes, let us know.
Sky's the limit, man.
Literally, I'll reach out to literally anyone, because what is the harm at this point, kind of thing. So if there's someone you want to see or someone you want to see return, let us know. We have an idea for our final episode on March 10th. We'll announce that soon as well. That'll have room for lots of guests. Yosemite Blam says in chat, Greg Miller campaign. Greg is one of my 2 dream guests. I've interviewed Greg many times.
We want to do it the Greg Miller way. We need to get everybody tweeting at him. Tweet Greg Miller right now. Say, be on Constantly Calibrating on Constantly Cal Pod.
I will actually
start the thread.
No, I'm going to start the campaign to get Greg Miller, and I want Greg Miller. I want Greg Miller and Kevin Pereira.
Outcry is the only way to get Greg Miller paid attention.
Possibly.
Only because he gets so much thrown at him.
Yeah.
It has to.
Oh yeah.
So
for that.
1 million followers, like it's just going to happen naturally.
True. Very true. But yeah, so starting
right on Instagram, everything.
Very much so. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to start the campaign to get Greg Miller and Kevin Pereira on the show.
Thank you, Yosemite.
Yosemite Blam is the Patreon Producers Month. I've got this. I love you so much. He's the Patreon producer for kind of... you wonderful person. But we're going to start the campaign to get them both on. Those are two people my dream guests for a long time to actually have on a proper podcast. We'll do another thing. But yeah, the last thing I'm going to say on this before we have any discussion we want to have here or... move along with the topic is if you have any Concal memories or if you have any thoughts on Concal for the remainder of February into March, hashtag goodbye Concal or Concal. What sounds better, Concal goodbye or goodbye Concal? I actually can't decide.
Goodbye Concal.
Okay. Hashtag goodbye Concal. You drop that. I will be literally reading anything that pops up on there, no matter how ridiculous, as long as it's not hate speech. I will be reading anything that you write with that hashtag on all the Constantly Calibrating episodes for the final 4 coming on here. But yeah, so that's the deal. We'll announce more about Bear Punch soon. Bear Punch Media soon.
Probably mention what's happening with the streaming channels because like the new show is going to be purely podcast at this moment. Catch All will still be video.
Yeah, well, that was going to be part of the later stuff. Yeah, but
okay, gotcha.
The short version. The brand new show will be an audio only show. Catch All will remain video. We're gonna right now. The plan is to turn Concal Pod on Mixer into Bear Punch Media in March because there's just no reason not to. We're gonna give everyone fair warning, and you could jump ship if you want to. Meanwhile, on Twitch, we're gonna make a brand new Bear Punch Media Twitch account. We actually already have made one. And we're going to just restream for both because we want to make sure everyone can watch because turns out a lot of people don't want to make Mixer accounts.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Like with the whole like Ninja Switch, I thought like the ship would have pushed a little bit faster this way. But it seems like, yeah, Mixer is just...
Mixer account, but don't realize it because like if you have an Xbox account or a Microsoft, if you have Windows and made an account, you have a Mixer account.
True,
but people don't...
Like, who wants to log in?
I know.
People don't realize that step, and they don't want to make yet another place. I mean, the episode we were talking about with Kevin, people were DMing him questions and comments about the episode on Twitter instead of just being in our chat. Like our chat said we had like 8 people there. Meanwhile, Kevin's getting questions from like 20 different people, and I'm like, do we just have people who just refuse to make a Mixer account so they don't count toward the metric? Like, I mean, go by. Like,
I refuse to support them.
You do you look like that's the way I look. You do you. However you want to watch content, that is your call. But also interesting, interesting choice.
Weird, you know.
But
like the whole like same idea of like people refusing to make an Epic, to download the Epic, launcher for silly reasons, and it's like, man, come on, like there are way bigger issues to be upset about in the industry than having to have 2 browsers. Like it's silly.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the way I look at it. Like a lot of us, browsers use different browsers. Some will use Chrome for this and Firefox for that kind of like situations. You have multiple different social media accounts. What's another thing to check out if you're enjoying stuff? If you're just browsing and going by, I get it. But so in any case, we're gonna do on Twitch and
Facebook
Mixer
Live. Everybody has a Facebook account and trust them.
Yeah, Facebook also doesn't really make it remotely clear that Facebook Live's a thing. So, like, it's still very confusing how that platform works to me. But yeah, so the long and short of it is, we'll have a Twitch, we'll have a Mixer, we'll be both places. We'll be chatting with you guys for the live show, which will really just be Catch All for now, and any other streams we do. And excuse me. And yeah. Wow, that was harder to get through than I honestly thought that it was going to be. Here's the thing, like I posted in our Discord earlier, and I thought, okay, whatever, like get it out in the open. Justin and I have been talking about this for like the entire month of January. Like let's get this out in the open. We're going to be talking about this tonight. And then I threw it in the Discord, and people started reacting to it with emojis, and people started like writing comments. And then one of our writers, British Joe, who who literally disappeared into the ether about 5 years ago, suddenly started talking in our Discord and and started talking about things. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like literally crying at my desk, like, oh, this is going to be a show tonight, potentially. I'm a little nervous now.
I'm waiting for our last show. It's like, hey, someone came in, they bought Constantly Calibrating and wants to make content under them. Like, well,
yeah. I mean,
just like we blow up at our death, you know?
Well, that was the joke I made earlier. I finally got a backup drive for all the Constantly Calibrating stuff, and I'm like, Justin said you should do thumb drives for this. I'm like, I'm just gonna get a bunch of thumb drives, and I'm gonna put the entirety of our Dropbox on each thumb drive. Each thumb drive will have each thumb drive will then have a part of a map leading to the next thumb drive as a scavenger hunt. Once you collected all 10 thumb drives, it actually will put together to spell out a link with a code. If you go to that link and enter that code, it actually just takes you to Patreon and automatically deducts like $10,000 from your account. And I was just like, this is rambling on cold medicine earlier. I'm like, that will be the unending stupid ass legacy.
The sad part is, I was just trying to make a Dragon Ball joke. Like, you collect all the thumb drives, you can make a wish that Constantly Calibrating comes back. But you don't watch Dragon Ball, so it went over.
Did not get that at all. I did not understand that reference. It makes sense with my limited knowledge of Dragon Ball. I get it now. Yeah, no, that didn't make sense mixed with cold medicine. But all right, so that
Dragon Balls, they'll leave you hanging. But
yeah, no,
much more of like a Death Note and Full Metal Alchemist kind of guy.
That's fair.
I've never seen either of those either. Anyways, good night. No, yeah. So, so that's the big announcement. I'm gonna put together a shorter version of this to throw up on Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that later. But if anyone has any questions, just ask me on Twitter. Ask me here. You can ask me during this chat. If there's any more discussion, Justin or Chris, if you had questions about this, we could go.
I got a question.
You got a question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is it's sad news. Obviously, it's 8 years ending, but it's not actually sad. You're still gonna be creating news. Obviously,
it's sad happy. It's
yeah. I mean, you're
bittersweet.
doing what you want to do.
Yeah,
it's bittersweet.
It's the next step.
But exactly. And I hosted tournaments for years. We had this really big scene in New England for Smash Bros tournaments, and eventually the workload was not hard. It was just I was not passionate about what I was doing anymore. I was just I like what I'm doing, but I want to do this in a different way. I'd rather just play and enjoy the community rather than having to host. So you guys aren't going anywhere. You're just doing, you're just kind of shifting up what you're doing a little bit. And I guess to leave it on a good note, what's some your favorite memories, I guess, of the past 8 years? Even just one or two. I'd like to hear, along with this stressful news, throw out some good memories as well.
Well, I mean, the simple fact for me, the easiest thing is the fact that I remember sitting down with Steven, my old co-host and co-founder, to record this podcast that didn't have a name. We just wanted to talk about Mass Effect 3. I actually went back and listened. We don't come up with the name of the episode of the show until I think the second episode. The audio is really terrible. It's for the first 4 episodes because it was recorded on a mic with a split wire and stuff because we weren't trying to do anything seriously. So it's really hard to listen to the first few episodes and stuff's not clear at points. But yeah, it's they're during the second episode we come up with the name for it. But it was we had ideas of grandeur, but what we were going to do. But we applied. I've told the story before. We applied to be a media for RTX, the second ever one. Applied as a joke because what the hell's media? We didn't know what that meant. We were just a couple of idiots with a podcast. We didn't know what media badges were or what that thing meant. We just were oh, apparently media badges are free entry and we kind of want to go to Austin for this event. That was literally the basis of it. And their PR person sent me an email that not even 24 hours later that's do you want to have Bernie Burns and Matt Hullum, the co-founders of Rooster Teeth, on your podcast? I was never interviewed anyone. Fuck, sure. But it's
wrong start.
And that's that memory, literally that dumb thing. Here's the thing. Don't apply for media. Don't do that now. That's not good advice. If you're going to apply for media, know what you're doing, research it. It worked out, but events also, particularly when events were smaller or dumber and just like wanted anyone to come in. The reason we got a media badge wasn't because we were some known entity. We got a media badge because it was the second ever event for an event that people really didn't know a lot about. Rooster Teeth was big, but not massive at that point. They just literally, their PR people just wanted anyone. If you could give them, one click, they wanted you, kind of thing.
I wouldn't say they were dumber. It's just like they're more hungry at the time. So
yeah. No, I'm saying that they were dumber in the sense of they just accepted literally anyone without researching. Because there were a lot of people in that media room who should not have been in that media room more than us.
Well, I think when it started, like a lot of people, like if you apply to come there and talk about Rooster Teeth, they probably assume, hey, you are a fan of Rooster Teeth. You know what it is, whatever you can do to help us get the word out. But yeah, it just got blown up from there to big, like the bigger something gets to.
Well, yeah, Rooster Teeth grew, and we don't need to get into the history of Rooster Teeth growing up. But what that moment led to for me was realizing I was not an introvert. What that moment led to was realizing I like people. What led to a chain of events that had some really massive downswings. But what it led to was meeting some of my best friends in my life, meeting some of my best acquaintances in my life, and discovering an actual career that I want to do. I would have never in a million years thought I was a marketing guy. Ever thought I was that person until literally going to events and people being like, you should look into PR. Like, people kept saying that to me for years, and I'm like, no, that's not me. And then finally it actually clicked, oh, that actually, okay, I should actually, I've been doing that kind of already, and I need to learn more about this field, kind of thing. So if it wasn't for those moments, I wouldn't have led to all the other amazing moments. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, Justin, I got one more, but I want to hear if you've got one.
Justin. I mean, that's just it. I don't have like one that stands out like overall, as in just the overall experience. Yeah, mine to RTX again, but 2014. Yeah, it was 2014. 2014. It's coming out. Yeah, let's just say I was coming. I had a big breakup, like a massive, just different depression. It just like actually just starting Concal. Well, not starting Concal. Josh already started Concal, but like
you helped me restart
Josh it. Finally. Yeah, like helped start the video part of it.
Yes.
Because like then we were all big Rooster Teeth fan, Achievement Hunter fans, and that's when we tried to start doing like Let's Plays and stuff like that, which is just fun to do. Like always, like look to friends, like I got my own Let's Plays. So like that's so cool. I want to be part of that. And then we started making our own. Then we got into events, and then my first interview was Greg Miller. And he cried and we hugged. It was a thing. But
I remember that.
Yeah, it was just that moment.
You guys talk about that during your while you were hosting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, you. I think you brought it up during Games Daily.
Yeah. I mean, that's a story I already told before too. It's just like not just the first interview, but like when we're first sitting in that media room, and everybody I just been looking up to just kind of walks in. I'm like,
that part is always weird. Like I started as Games Press, and like
it's like, am I supposed to be in this room?
Yeah, like I'm in like the PAX media room, and I just see like the whole IGN video team walk in, and I'm like, I've been following these guys for years. I saw Ryan McCaffrey, and I was like, I remember, must have been like 7th grade when he started working at OXM.
Yep,
and just like being able to talk to him at parties now, and just like it's weird. It's weird to like I've been following you since I was like 10. Like, I don't want to like sound like too much of a fan.
No, I mean we've all had those. Did you have more on yours, Justin?
No, it's just a fact. Like when everybody was there, like it was. I mean, Brady Burns walks in, Freddie Wrong walks in, Greg Miller's there. Brady goes out and does RTX things. Like Freddie Wrong, Greg Miller, a few others were like sitting at a table. Greg like had to go introduce myself. Like, oh, hey, Greg, I'm Justin, Constantly Calibrating. We got an interview coming up. And he'd be like, oh yeah, sure, come, sit down for a bit, man. And like, he just invited me to the table to join the conversation. I was just kind of sitting there in awe, like,
Yep.
But it just like he kind of like treated me as an equal. It's a pretty awesome thing. And just like as Constantly Calibrating as a whole, like there's so many things I would always want to do, but never thought I would have done.
Yep.
I mean, just getting into game conferences. I mean, the other reason we started Let's Plays channels, it's something that's actually kind of akin to Rooster Teeth. I was like, it'd be cool if I just get a free game.
Yep.
That'd be awesome.
I remember getting my first free key being like, yes. Yeah. It's like it's some indie game that looking back, I'm like, that game kind of sucked. Like at the time I was just like, oh, I hate it.
Yeah. Well, until I hooked up with, some, it was like, you're giving me a Witcher 3 key? Oh,
Yeah, Witcher 3, you got Dying Light, like those are your first like two major ones.
Dying Light I owed a lot to.
You do. That was a hell of a thing, but I was and my first review key was Dead Space 3. I'd never played a Dead Space game, and just literally a free
but no, still it's EA.
a freelance. Well, it wasn't even through EA. It was like a freelance PR person. Again, I didn't know how the industry worked back then, so it was just I didn't know. But now I know. It was a person who was freelancing who just got sent some keys as part of an influencer outreach program kind of thing, and I was on their list, and they're like, "Are you interested?" And I'd already produced content, so they're like, "You want to review this?" I'm like, "It's a free key, and I'll take it." Kind of respond.
I mean,
that was not a good review.
Well, like even to a point, like I always wanted to go E3, and I had still fluked to this day, but got into E3 as media. Never again. Oh. And we got in a good years, kind of like with Sony. Last time Sony was there.
It's better that we didn't get in last year. Let's just go with that.
Very much better that we didn't get in last year. I mean, I kind of want someone to call me, but anyways, yeah, just a whole lot of things that I never thought I would have done, and we did this over here. Like crazy, like I looked up to Greg Miller. He invited me onto his show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people on the show, but we actually did it. It's freaking crazy to me.
Yep. No, I mean,
I plateaued.
No, you didn't. You haven't even hit the peak yet, baby. Like you just hit a spot. You're in your rest phase. There's still more to go up. I assure you of that.
And
you're really in your plateau if you let it happen.
Yeah,
really. Like it's,
as far as as far as picking one thing, but yeah, all that stuff is awesome. But the better part is all the friends we made along the way. As cheesy as that sounds, because all the people we meet.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, all what we're talking right now because of this, just to hang out with people afterwards, even though I'm like the silent type and it's hard for me to like express what I feel, something I'm still working with, and actually have like a general conversation with people, which I'm getting better at. And I don't know, I'm just meeting all these awesome people that work on games that I love and meeting people with games I never knew I loved and getting introduced to them and just see all these awesome, creative, massive, talented people like mine. It just meeting them, hanging out with them, becoming friends. It's the best, man. Like this is why I love this industry.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. People ask me like what the best part about my job is. It's just the people. Like just working in this industry, I'm super proud of. And every time I go to PAX, I become a kid. Like I'm so excited for PAX. And I used to get excited for PAX to see like all the big booths and like go, oh my god, like there's Sony, there's Xbox, and now I'm just like, where the homies at? And I run out and I just find all of you, and we go out for drinks, and then of course like from business perspective, obviously all the indies I go like pitch, but
sure,
it's just the best.
No, it's
but to laser point that answer. Brad's butt bonanza is my favorite moment.
I knew he was going. That is a video that one of these days he might actually sue us about. Like legitimately, it's
I may be nice to take it down for him.
I think that's the final episode of the Constantly Calibrating Podcast. Is we watch it one last time and then we delete it from the internet. I think that's literally. I think that's one of the last moments of that podcast. Is how
we post that podcast video and leave it up ever so you can still watch it.
Clearly that is how it works. And there's a time code and everything to that moment. I clearly that is the plan. But yeah, no. Well,
honestly, those were kind of like, again, like all that stuff's cool, but those were awesome days where we just met together and did some Let's Plays.
I miss the Let's Play days, even though I don't really enjoy making them anymore. They're just a pain in the ass. I miss doing them because they were a lot of fun to do. Coming up with a really dumb idea and just saying, okay, we're going to record. I got one more. I want to get to our other topics on the show, but I got one more memory that popped into my head with Justin talking and stuff like that. It's akin to his Greg Miller memory, because Greg is now a person I look up to now, but I didn't know Greg before. Literally, I didn't know who Greg was until Justin was standing interviewing him. We only even requested the interview because Justin just said, "Hey, Greg Miller's going to be there," and I'm like, the guy from Gauntlet Season 2, I guess. Okay. Like, he was kind of funny. I literally said, that guy was kind of funny to Justin. And they announced kind of funny, like not even a few months later, by the way.
Started kind of funny.
Because it was like it was a clear thing, but like, that's okay. But yeah, anyways.
Like, they're so subtle with mouth pudding, and we said kind of funny, and then they're like, oh.
Nah, shut up. That's not at all how it happened. But no, but it's a similar thing.
Those royalty checks.
Exactly. Greg Miller. No, there's no money. But no, seriously. Justin
in the Patreon months, just one.
Justin used to work at GameStop, as we've just talked about in the shows, and I would go and visit him in GameStop, and there used to be the GameStop, I think there still is the GameStop TV thing.
1 year I lived in Arizona, yes.
Yeah, the 1 or so year you lived in Arizona, I would come visit you at GameStop, and GameStop TV, Andrea Renee was on there. Back in those, like, I'm not wrong, she was on there. I'm not mixing up a memory.
Yes,
okay.
was on there.
And
she's definitely been on there before.
Yeah, and she was.
I've seen those videos so many times.
Exactly. So I'm just making sure my brain is not mixing up information like it sometimes does. So yeah, no. So anyways, that's cool. I am remembering this correctly. So yeah, so I would go in the store and I would see Andrea on there, and she would do whatever her spiel was, and I was like, oh, cool, interesting. And then I would hear about Andrea every now and again, and I had the opportunity to meet Andrea a few years ago at a PAX as part of an interview, or a potential interview thing, and I botched my introduction. We ended up not doing the interview kind of thing. Not because of the botching, just the timing didn't work out. I just
the first time I met Andrea. It's not anything. It's just I was at PSX. I looked like I was going to take my seat at the presentation. Like, oh, cool, you're Andrea. How are you? It's like, yeah. We talked. I sat by her and too intimidated to say anything else.
Yep. I mean, well, that's the thing, is that I was too intimidated by my experiences with her to really say anything, because, well-known, person in the industry, hardest working woman in the industry is her moniker. But I met her a few other times, and over times, and she would kind of tear into myself and another person on our team for just jokey kind of things and stuff like that, just playful kind of banter. And I was always still uncomfortable. And then
or Blake.
Yeah, poor Blake. But yeah, don't wear your badge during an interview, Blake. Don't wear your badge at a bar. Lessons learned from Andrea and A. But no,
don't wear your badge just near Andrea at all. Don't.
That's possibly a good idea. But she was, but again, she was a person who I really much admired, but was a bit intimidated by. And then at PAX East last year, we were at a party that she was also at, a bunch of other people, and I happened to just be kind of I got into an introspective loner mode. It was on this the Adult Swim cruise ship thing at PAX East. I got into this super
Dan.
Yep, thank you very much, Dan. I got into this loner mode where I was just I don't know, I was just kind of bummed out, and we were still at sea, quote unquote, for a little bit. I'm I don't really know what to do, and all of a sudden I just hear someone yell, "Hey, Josh, get over here!" And it's Andrea Renee, and I'm like, okay. And I just sat down and I can't even remember. I was quite a few drinks in, so I don't remember exactly. But there were some developers there, and there was a bunch of different people of various walks in life. There were people from major companies and some major publications and stuff like that, and they're all just talking, and she starts bringing me into the conversation. And that moment, it meant so much to me that afterwards, I even took her aside when we got to the boat. I saw her when I was leaving. I'm like, I don't think you understand how much that meant to me. And I'm not trying to two-tone horror or anything, or name drop. I'm but I don't think you understand how much that meant to me, being brought into that circle, particularly at that moment where my brain was at. And she's like, oh, don't worry, Josh, you're one of us. And literally, I was just
industry is.
And I was like, what?
It got kind of to me too. We're all on the balcony outside. It does because I keep...
Stop stealing my moment, Justin.
Don't steal your moment. Big hint, never sell yourself short when you're introducing yourself to people.
Never.
A weird thing to say. I always Josh, I'm the guy around him. And Andrew's
too much.
No, you're not.
Look, Justin, Justin. So I didn't hear anything you said. You and Chris were talking at the same time. I literally heard nothing you said.
Go ahead.
Take another shot at it.
Okay. So yeah, never introduce yourself in a weird way. Introduce yourself as yourself. Because I always I did the things hey, you Josh, I'm just a guy hanging around him. But she stops no, you're not. You're Justin. You're one of us too. And oh,
it's amazing. The thing I said to Justin for years, the fucking Andrea Renee to get it through his head. but no, so that, and that's
Greg Miller still doesn't know my name.
He does. Jen has informed him of our names. He knows. But it's one of those cascading things, because I can then again say that moment mattered to a lot of other moments and created other moments. But it's what we've repeated. It's when I'm asked that question, when you say that question on Twitter, what are you most looking forward to seeing at PAX? I never list the booth anymore. I never I'm happy to play a game. I'd love to see your game. I think it'd be great. I'm here to talk to people. I'm here to meet new people. I'm here to meet old people. I like people, and that's what it's about for me. And those are the moments that matter to now answer very long-winded answer your question, Chris.
No,
Granted, we are
this is fine. This is good.
We're also kind of a spoiled point. That's what some people may not understand.
I'm
it's cool to
I'm
see
spoiled
games.
AF. I'm spoiled AF as in this industry.
Yeah, and when you're in media, sometimes you can just get a pass to come see the games. You get special screens, but most of the part, like most of the games we want to play, we get access to in some way, shape, or form. And we're like, yeah, it's cool to go on the show floor, talk to people, but it's cooler to, instead of like going to see a game, go to see the people.
Yeah,
go to see the people who make the game. Go to see people who sell the game. That's just more rewarding. It lasts longer. It transfers as far as they do. Granted, like, I mean, we know people who start smaller places to bigger places, now AAA places, just go crazy throughout the industry. And just, I don't know, like, again, go there for people, try to focus on them. Like, even as a guest, try to talk to the people at the booth, even if they're just in line or holding the line for you. Because sometimes there's people who are working the booths who work on the games. Like, even at Sony, stuff like that, too. Like, most of those are actually employees at the different studios.
A lot of time.
I mean,
well, so yeah, Nintendo always Nintendo always finds like kind of outside agencies, but pretty much everyone else like always, especially like that's why I feel like when you first go to PAX, like you see the big booths and you're all excited, but you know, like now it's always, if you want to talk to a developer, you go to like Indie Mega booth and like you just ask, why'd you make this? Why'd you make that? Why'd you choose this? Like you just
why do game?
Anything.
Why do game?
Yep. Why do game? Tell me, please tell.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, the other thing too, like it totally changed my perspective on the industry too. It's more not just about games. It's about who's behind the games.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's, I don't know, it's changed me.
Changes.
I had a more like profound thing for this, but I already lost it. So
no, I mean I think we've done enough, and again, we're going to be talking about moments like this. We're talking about moments like this in upcoming shows, and we'll have our big rambling tirade final episode. So there's more opportunity for it, but I want to talk more stuff related to Chris. He's our guest, and like
yes.
So Chris, we in this before we went into our whole constantly calibrating spiel thing, we talked about a little bit about your journey getting to Stride and stuff like that. You then left Stride and you started your own company, Pixel River.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what you do at Pixel River, and you know, as someone who's now just getting into PR at Stride and stuff like that, like not, you know, I was gonna make a joke about give me all the dirt, but no, no. But what was it like starting your own kind of your own agency, and like what you do and what you look for when you work with developers?
It was fucking hard, man. It was hard.
Oh, no doubt.
Completely, like if I can just be like completely like blunt with you, like it's hard to go out and, as we said, like this industry is so competitive, but also to create your own company and make it and find a way to get ahead of the curve is just, whether you're a content creator, PR person, like no matter what, like it's always evolving. So it's always hard, of course. But I just took my best skills I had at Stride. You know, like my communication skills were something that people always enjoyed. So I said, okay, like I'm going to make this a way where I go up to every single developer I want to meet and explain myself, tell them what I do, and just let myself sell our services. And to this day, every single client I've ever gotten has always been at a con. I walk up to them, I introduce myself, and basically that's immediately how I started. E3 2018 was my last like little hurrah with Stride. So I got to like say goodbye to the team, and immediately started just looking for, you know, like at first I wasn't sure what I was going to do when I first quit. I didn't quit to be like, I'm going to make my own company and I'm going to be a great PR guy. It was like that. I just wanted to work on games still, but I wanted to find like another way to do it.
Sure.
And I talked to developers. Eventually I was like, all right, I started kind of helping with small things. And then eventually I said, you know, like, why not just try this on my own? I just got married in September, but at this point, you know, it was 3 months before I had even proposed.
Sure.
So I was like, you know, as we've already talked about, you know, you can always move yourself in this industry or in any industry and kind of start a new path whenever you want. But I was 25 at the time, and I was like, I want to propose. I'm going to get married. Eventually, we're going to have kids. I want to take risks now rather than later.
It's the best time. Trust me, as someone who's taking the risks at a later point, it's way better to take it younger if you can.
Yeah, I mean, just less stress in that way. And there's already enough stress to deal with already work-wise, never mind having to have children in the mix.
For sure.
But so I just started started talking to developers at different cons and explain what I can do, and eventually finding my own way to do Hunter Bond actually is the one that has brought up the idea of like bespoke PR. That's how he always describes me to other people.
Yep, I've heard him use that term many times.
Yeah. And so basically that's how I got my start. Is I just said, all right, I'm gonna do what I know. I know this industry well. It's all I eat, live, and breathe this industry. I wake up every morning, I put on a Twitch stream of a speedrun, I do my morning emails, and I listen to game music. It's just part of the DNA at this point. So Pixel River just started because a quick side note, I know this is a bit of a ramble, but
please.
Pixel River is called that because I wanted something like, I feel like a lot of these companies very much they sound cool, like it's like a cool word or a cool term, but it doesn't mean anything.
True.
And for me, that was like PR. The idea of PR is not like a pool; it's like a river. So like I want it to be like, you're bringing information from point A to point B, and without you, it could not get to that spot.
Sure.
So I thought of like the whole like river mentality of that, and then eventually, I mean, Pixel is just a geek term, right? It's just
it makes sense. And then also you end up with Pixel River PR, you end up with PR, which also is it's being very clear that this is PR.
I don't know if you talk to Kyle, but that's what Kyle calls me. PR guy. Tries to get like a shitty Boston accent, but
I think I actually did hear that actually at East last year.
He will do that all the time, and he'll always be like, you're from the Vineyard, because like I live somewhat close to Martha's Vineyard, but like it's like 45 minutes away. It's pretty far.
I like that your accent kicked in specifically for Martha. There for Martha's Vineyard. Anyone who's from anyone who's from the Massachusetts area, as someone who grew up in the Northeast, anyone who's from the Massachusetts area, you might not have the Boston related accent for anything you say, but nobody from that area can say Martha's Vineyard without the accent kicking.
It's got to be like Martha.
Yeah, you get Martha's Vineyard. So
it's natural.
Sorry, I'm like reimagining like the scene in Batman v Superman. Just why'd you say Martha? Why'd you say that name?
Has anyone made like that scene but with a Boston accent? Because now I kind of want to do that. It's a terrible TikTok video.
It's got to be out there.
It's got every idea exists. Every idea has been done. It's just hasn't been done right.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I basically just kept pushing, and eventually got some clients that I've got from an event called BFIG in Boston.
Okay.
And I got to work with some wonderful people from there, and just kept working on from there for the past almost 2 years now. This summer will make 2 years since I've kind of gone off on my own. And I've gotten to work with some great developers, and I guess to shout one out, I'm working right now with Infini, which might be listening to this right now. So hello, the team of Infini. But they're a Canadian-based team making a very, very psychedelic, trippy game, which we will have some information about very soon. I can't really spoil anything, but let's just say this week we should have some good news for people who are.
You start you start to lay out the trap. You start to tease me, and then you pull it all back.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
we got some cool stuff coming.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. But no, I mean, I really appreciate the fact of what you're doing. About the fact that you did some time with an agency, you learned what you needed to learn, you figured stuff out, and then you went off on your own, you made your own thing, and it seems it's working out. You've been doing this, as you said, for almost 2 years in this solo act, and here you are, and I think that's amazing, and I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you both as someone in the industry and as a friend. So
I'm proud of you as well.
Oh,
like it's no, it's real. Like I mean, everything, and it's hard to like end these little chapters and stuff and start new ones, but that's as you can see from what I'm doing right now, like that's just how you get things done. Even if it's hard and it doesn't feel like it's the right time, sometimes it just is. And I respect you guys for saying, hey, like this chapter's over, let's open the page of a new one.
Don't make me cry, please. I have a story related to ends of chapters that I'm saving for literally the end because I will not make it through the story without crying, and I'm not doing that on tonight's show. So
I'll stop right there.
But I
save it for the end.
But sincerely, no, I appreciate that. But like, I like when people have the opportunity to. I like that when people have the opportunity to learn and grow. I like when people have the opportunity to then take that growth and then put it into something that makes sense for them, that makes sense for their lifestyle, for their experiences, and turn it to themselves. Because no matter where you work, you're gonna have whether it's for someone else, for a major company, for a small company, for yourself, you're gonna have your good experiences, you're gonna have your bad experiences. If you're lucky, you'll never have terrible experiences. You're gonna have all that stuff, and it's all of those moments that you then find what actually makes sense by yourself. So the fact that you took this your journalism stuff, and then you turned it into working for an agency, a PR place, and then you took that and you turned that into running your own agency, and wherever you then turn that into and bring that to next, it's wonderful. And
thank you. Yeah, and that's every little step we take. These 8 years of this are going to help you with your next step.
Absolutely.
And I guess people always ask me like, what can you do to get in the industry? And my best advice, which I've been giving for years, is literally just fucking do it. Just do anything.
Literally anything.
Use 6 months of podcasting. You're like, oh, I didn't really like that. And it's like, okay, well now you have 6 months of a resume in the gaming industry. Like I started retail, then to journalism and tournaments, and then PR. Like you just need to take those incremental steps, and without trying anything, you're not gonna get where you want.
For me, I started in this because I just was doing a podcast. There was no intent really necessarily for an industry job. I didn't even think that was viable until going to my first PAX West at 2016, Justin, I think PAX West 2016 was our first one there. That was the first time it actually started clicking in my head what could be, and it wasn't really almost 2018 when it made sense to me.
I was thinking that the whole time, and Josh is the one that gets the job.
Well, that's a whole. I put myself out there, and I'm a whore for myself. So that's the major
but also
difference.
had another one that was kind of wear me down at the time, which also stopped.
Yeah,
concentration at a point.
Yeah, we're in very, very different circumstances. Also, I reached the point where my wife was so depressed with her job. Skipping ahead, I reached this point with my wife was so depressed with her job that I sincerely worried she wasn't going to come home some days. And we have 2 children. And I literally just said to her, "Quit your fucking job. We'll figure it out." So I literally had to then go from at E3 of last year, be like, "Okay, this is not a game anymore. Someone's hiring me this year because my family needs to eat." Like that's what that turned into.
I mean, that kind of desperation often leads to like you getting something like kind of half important, half not important. But I was afraid that you were going to use the picture of my Twitter for like the screenshot of this.
Oh yeah,
it's so old. It's like 3 years ago. I literally like took that in my bathroom, like trying to get ready because I was going to E3 for the first time to meet Stride.
Yeah,
and to cover the event for publication. And kind of going out there, I looked at my wife, a girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I'm gonna come back with a job. I'm gonna go to California, and I'm gonna get something. And that kind of perseverance, and maybe if it's like kind of blind courage. It's just sometimes you just kind of need that.
No, I mean you do. Sometimes it's just like you've just gotta put it yourself out there. But like, short version of what I was gonna lead into was that for me it was on paper. If you looked at my resume that I started putting out at the beginning of 2019, on paper, all that's on my resume that got me an actual job in this industry was at that point 7 years of podcasting, doing PR outreach for my own company, doing all these things for my own company, a 8-month marketing job at a promotions company, and then I wasn't even doing freelance PR, but I put it on the resume anyways and just said, "I have clients. Let's talk," kind of response, like kind of thing. And because
until you make it.
But that was my resume, and I got interviews from that kind of like lack of experience because the fact that I put so much effort into a podcasting and all these things looked good enough to people to get that foot in the door. So as Chris said, if you want to know how to break into this industry, and really it applies to most industries, is just do it. Find your thing. Try podcasting. Try podcast. I recommend everyone get a podcast because seriously, it's the fucking easiest thing to just, it's not like what it once was when I started. It wasn't even that hard when I started. It's really... it was barely hard then, but it's really not hard now. Start a podcast.
You definitely made it harder than it needed to be.
Much harder than it ever needed to be.
That's a Hard Drive magazine article that's like another group of white guys starts their own podcast. And it's like, oh, like it's so true. But then I look at my podcast, like my podcast list, and I'm like, oh, these all fit under this little umbrella. I need to diversify a bit.
My wife and her best friend were in a little chat group on Facebook Messenger. They're her friend's a little more up to times with like current memes and stuff like that, but she's still, since like compared to like me who's on Twitter 24 hours a day, she's still about like anywhere from 48 to 72 hours behind, sometimes up to a week behind on stuff. And then like she never really posts anything related to podcasting or game industry. Like with the stuff she shares, she suddenly just shared the joke we've all seen with a group of white guys is known as a podcast. And she posted that to me, and I just sat there and I'm like, it's so fucking true. Because again, but that's the thing, is anyone can start a podcast. So I think so. That's my advice is start the podcast, start the Let's Plays, find your thing, and if it doesn't make sense, go to the next thing. Go to the next thing. Don't do anything. When you're building your quote unquote portfolio, don't do anything that you're not enjoying, because if you get known for that thing you're not enjoying, like the streamer who's playing Fortnite 8 hours a day every day of the week, and you could see the misery in their eyes because they got known for that and they don't know how to escape it. Like, nothing against Fortnite, but I'm saying if you get into a thing you're doing that you don't like to do and you luck out and become known for it, you're going to be a little SOL there potentially trying to find your new thing. So find what you enjoy, find what your passion is, explore, and just do whatever things you want to make a game. Get Twine. Make a Twine game. If you want to do whatever the thing is you want to do, like find out and just do it. Especially if you're young.
You do it.
Especially.
You don't have to release it either. Like, just do it to start getting that experience.
Don't release it.
Don't release it, no.
Don't release all of them, at least.
I would like
some that you just throw away.
I would like to unrelease like the first 80 episodes of Constantly Calibrating.
I mean, we can.
Fair enough.
It's like, why is it start at 81?
I mean, the video stuff doesn't start till like 160 something, and
there you go. We had a fire.
Well, no, I mean, like actually, due to a hard drive failure, I actually don't have like the first 90 some odd episode of Constantly Calibrating. They don't exist. I don't have the audio for them. They exist on Apple Podcasts and the RSS feed. I have no way to re-download them. That is the only place they exist. I cannot listen to them otherwise because in the great website hard drive failure of the day my first child was born, I lost, all of these records. So what I'm saying is like, yeah, no, we could, or they yeah. I'm rambling now a little bit. But let's. Wait,
did you say you lost your entire laptop memory?
So
your first child.
So the day Roran was born, my first child, it was two coincidental things. They had nothing to do with each other. The day Roran was born, I got a text message from Brian, who was our head of marketing and helped me with IT stuff as well at the time. And it said, I know you're busy. You need to talk to me in 2 days. Call me in 2 days. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't even see it for 2 days. I was so busy with, baby being born that I really didn't honestly, like, he knew well enough I wouldn't see this. So 2 days later, I get in contact with him. He's like, yeah, so at about 3:15 or so p.m., we had a catastrophic failure with GoDaddy. Where they lost our entire database for the website and 3 different layers of backups.
Jesus.
The whole website was gone. For reference, he said it's like at 3:15 p.m. And he's like rambling off, and I pause. I'm like, Roran was born at 3:17 p.m. right? So literally almost to the minute my son was born, my other child died. It was like that was the joke Charnel made. It was the sacrifice made. But when I got home, I found out that my backup drive I'd been using, which was the only place, because I wasn't good at backing up stuff, the only place the old episodes of Constantly Calibrating existed, as well as a lot of other stuff, had a failure. Sometime while we were not at the house, it had a failure, and yeah, stuff was lost. It happened. I was bummed as hell at the time, but now it's just like shit happens. I don't, getting the website. We have rebuilt that website using Wayback Machine. That was not my favorite thing in the world. That was a hell on earth, and the website has never worked since. In all honesty, that's why it's not been updated now in a year. And it won't. That website's going to disappear come June when that subscription's up. That's a whole other conversation. But
I want your live reactions as you end it.
Maybe. But hey,
it's some good content.
I got one other major topic that I want to talk about. We're talking about PAX East. So, I mean, like, aside from the we've already said what the given is, the I want to see people thing. Is there anything particular, Chris and you, Justin, for you as well, like you guys are looking forward to for PAX East coming up? Because right now we're the first Tuesday of February. PAX East is in what, like 3 weeks, I think, about
21, 22 days.
Yes, yeah.
23 days. Yeah.
Justin and I are going from DreamHack Anaheim. We're driving home on a Tuesday. We're getting on a red eye Tuesday night, and then we'll be in Boston on Wednesday. So we're just going from one event to the other. Hellacious travel. I still don't know if I'm working for Stride for it. I don't know in what capacity I'm going to be there. So I'm just like, I'm going to be in Boston. So what I'm looking forward to is...
You're going to be there.
I'm just looking forward to being in Boston and doing that event and just having a time. Like, that's my quick answer. So for you guys, like, what are you looking forward to at PAX East? Chris, if you want to go... Justin, okay.
I don't plan for these things until I get there.
Small suburban chat, our friend Christine, I'm considering flying down for 1 day for PAX. I've heard this, Christine, and
that's what I'm looking forward to.
While that's from where you live, that's a hell of a travel experience. But I really hope you do.
But yeah, I don't know, like game wise, I can't think what's going to be there that I haven't seen already.
No idea.
Or, but yeah, it's the people. I haven't been to a convention since
West, yeah.
So I'm just excited to get back to that. Hopefully especially because I think I am definitely a different person since West. Like I'm constantly calibrating. But yeah, I think I made a lot of improvements in last year. Towards the end of last year too. So I don't know. I have new eyes. That's exciting. So
he means that literally he got laser eye surgery. Like, just to be clear, that wasn't like a metaphor.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's both. But yeah, I'm happy to go see people with my new eyes, I guess.
I see you so well now. You're just staring at me like that's good to see.
It was like, weren't you that ass? That's weird to me. It's like, no, that was some other ass with glasses. Don't worry about him.
I can say, Justin, without a shadow of a doubt, you have never been an asshole to any person you've ever met. You've been quiet and maybe a little weird at times because you didn't know how to say something, because I've also been that person. But you've never been an asshole to anyone.
Yes, so I met some weird people too, man. People I've tried to be. I'm like, well, I started talking. I was like, what the fuck? Just walking up to me. Don't talk to them. They're nice people. Like, dude, full on twirly mustache, hat, not wearing it ironically. That's just him.
I think I know who you're talking about.
On the jacket. Love him. Then we started talking and we had a nice conversation. I'm like, you're a cool dude. I'm digging his style right now too.
But that's what happens. I mean, that's literally what happens sometimes. People come up to you and you never know what those incidences are going to be.
I'm sure there's people I've been like incredibly awkward too. Yeah. Mostly Craig Miller. I
mean, you have to be ready to adapt on a dime. My interview with Stride was actually supposed to be like at a originally I had asked to go to a cafe, but he switched it to a bar like last second, and it was just me and all the employees. And I thought it was just like me and this guy just talking.
Yeah.
And it was literally the entire management team was just circled around me, and he gave me a beer and he was like, just talk to him. And I was just like, oh my God.
That sounds like really a Stride way of doing things.
I actually really liked it. Like, I got to really meet the team, and I like that. I like that idea of, I want you to join this team probably, but does my team want you to join? And you need to be ready for that kind of, just to be thrown into that. Because I was just like, I don't know any of you. I met Kyle once at a PAX East meeting, and I was like, I recognize this guy, but everyone else I don't know. And I came here to talk to this guy. Like, you just gotta be ready, like you said. Whether the guy with the top hat and the fancy mustache comes in, grabs you by the shoulder, and it's like, hey, you want to talk? Like, sometimes You just have to be ready for like those random moments.
Mm-hmm. If we say like, "Hey, beer, go talk to him," like all of a sudden my head went to Wayne's World. Like, why don't you just go talk to her? And then I totally was like thinking of myself as Garth, just doing a foxy lady dance towards somebody I want to work for.
I got to see this at PAX East this year.
Drunk enough, I will.
I mean, honestly, depending who it is, depending who you want to work for, that technique could work. you honestly never know the circumstances of what's going to work and what's not going to work. But
I'll find Per Schneider, lock eyes,
Jesus,
start thrusting in his direction.
I don't think that's someone you want to do it to, but
that is not
the Greg Miller, to be honest. But
that's better.
Greg could work. Per Schneider that would end your career. I feel like if you ever want to go even.
And then I like when it close to red, I'll just whisper. Mistakes.
But yeah, Chris, did I ask? God, we go on these lovely tangents, Chris. So what about yourself? Like, what do you feel like? Because I imagine a lot of your PAX East is going to be wander around the indie area, trying to make new clients and stuff like that, trying to talk to old ones, trying to anything you're repping for the event.
Yeah. I mean, from a work perspective, this PAX isn't. Well, this PAX East isn't as packed as last year. Last year I had 3 clients there. This year I have Gwen Frey. She's the one that she actually worked on BioShock Infinite, and she's the one that founded the Molasses Flood. That's the indie team that made the Flame in the Flood.
Yes. Okay.
So she actually went off and made Kine, which was a Stadia like launch title. It was a popular puzzle indie, and it's very much like La La Land. It's a very cutesy kind of like little, but it's cutesy, but it's grueling. It's a very, very hard puzzle game. So for anyone who likes puzzles, like hardcore puzzlers, check it out. But so she's my only client here this year. So yeah, it's mostly me going booth to booth, just meeting indies, obviously networking at night and going to bars and getting to see everyone. But I'm not really one to go to PAX or like any convention for AAA games. Like I'm excited for Animal Crossing. I'm excited for The Last of Us 2. I'm excited for Cyberpunk. But like we don't know if any of these games are going to even be at PAX or playable. And even if they are, like I don't want to wait more than 25 minutes in a line.
Yeah.
Like I know that sounds super jaded of me, but it's just no time for that. I could be meeting somebody.
I never understood that even as a fan. I was like, I mean, yeah, I understand people are like diehards. That's what they love. They just want to get their hands on it. But God, I doing that for Disney rides, period. And I can't imagine doing it for a video game for something that's eventually going to be in my home. I will do that for experiences that I can't experience in my home at some time. But yeah, for something that's
it's got to be something big. Like it's got to be like Breath of the Wild 2 coming out 2021. Get your hands on it first at PAX East. Like I'm pushing people in that line. I'll move over, kid. Like I'm going in. Like I'm gonna play some Zelda. But, to wait any more than like an hour, it's just not worth your time.
No, that's my mentality. I mean, my thing is like again, I'm just curious because this is like the next stage of my life. This PAX East begins that, essentially because that'll be at that point a week or two before the end of Constantly Calibrating, which is essentially a week or two before the beginning of Bear Punch Media. We're actually going to be doing Bear Punch Media stuff at PAX East. This is all going to depend because it's hard to schedule stuff when I literally don't know in what capacity I'm going to be there. But that's kind of what I'm enjoying is the fact is for all these years I've known what I was doing at every event coming forward. Okay, I'm going to be doing 10 to 25 appointments, trying games and doing interviews and doing this. I'm going to be on a show floor, and it's like a case of right now there's 2 paths I'm going to be on. I'm either going to be working for Stride, which means I'll either be at the registration desk or at one of Stride's clients' booths, right? Like that's pretty much the 2 options there. Or I'm going to be there with a media badge or whatever badge I get, in which case I'm more or less just an attendee because I'm not doing a video game show. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to make appointments. So it's like I'm looking forward to attending an event, and just attending an event is really the best way I could put it. Like I'm looking forward to not being on a schedule and just being like, all right, I guess I can't just sit down and play this random indie game that I never would have played in a million years because it didn't make sense for my site. No, I'm just gonna sit down and fucking play it and talk to the devs and learn about them.
It's a great feeling. Like the year I had quit, I had left Stride. I remember like waking up at the Airbnb at like E3, right? It was like my last time kind of being with all of them. and like waking up at like noon and being like, I get to go, like I can go to E3 and just relax. This is weird. Like that doesn't really happen, but it's just enjoy it because it's a special place. Like I'm in this industry, but this is basically a vacation for you in a way, unless you end up working in a booth. But
well, we'll see. And the thing is, I like that kind of work anyway. So if that's what I end up doing, I'm excited for it. To be clear, I love.
It's actually more fun.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm going to do because at some point I'm like, hey Josh, you can hold this and just drop something. It's going to hit the floor. I'm like, oh yeah,
it's
not with me.
Gonna be
he's
a little,
here, but he's not here.
It's gonna be a little surreal. If I'm doing the booth work and I'm not doing like the whatever work where I'm just not able to wander around with Justin, that's gonna be a little weird. Kind of mentality of things, but yeah, we'll figure it out. I mean, I'm still gonna be helping Justin make his appointments because I'm still PR for Constantly Calibrating. For this event, I'll be PR for Constantly Calibrating, and then I'll be PR for Bear Punch Media. This is gonna be a weird transition.
It'll take some time.
It'll take some time.
Here's a company is ending next month.
Yep. Yeah. So, I think my favorite thing about this is I'm going to be handing out potentially my last business cards, or I'm just going to make new ones, kind of. And there's something both enjoyable and horrifying about that. But yeah, shit. It's a good long conversation about all this stuff. I'm just saying, like,
I mean, that's kind of how this kind of had to be, right? Like when you first told me this, I was like, oh, this kind of show, it's gonna be more. Like, there's no way you can be like, hey, this is going to be the end of us soon, and have it as a structured show. There's just no way. It's going to be a very much more kind of introspective and kind of shoot the shit kind of show, and I've really enjoyed it.
I appreciate that. You know, what I said to Charnel, my wife, on the drive home, like an hour before we started the show, is I just said to her, I'm like, there's only 5 episodes of Constantly Calibrating left, and she's like, yeah. She's like, look at me. She's like, do you want to talk about it? Like, she like couldn't tell what my vibe was, and I'm like, no, it's just like, I guess I don't really need to like worry about metrics, or I don't need to worry about exactly who's watching. I don't need to be like so conscious of every last detail. I can just do this show and talk to our guest and just have a fun time, and just wherever the avenue takes, as long as the guest is having a good time, we can just explore, and I feel as beholden to all these different voices in my head. And then we literally just had that
the show go.
Yeah, we had the show go because the show it worked. So I'm glad that you were our first guest for this final 5. I'm glad we had a friend who understood things and was willing to talk about stuff. And I'm glad this is like kind of like our the end of the journey, as it were.
Well, so, I'm honored to be a part of this
I appreciate
part of the final chapter of.
Dun, dun, dun. Da 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 da. No, like trying to think of like one of those things. But yeah, so let's wrap things up. Chris, where people find you? Where can people find Pixel River? If they you want to know more about you, more about what you're doing, or if there's someone who wants to be a potential client or something, where can people find out more?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're no matter what, if you want to reach out to me, I'm on Twitter at Chris_J_Souza. That's SOUZA. There's a big population around where I live that has like Souza as the SOUSA. That's not the way we do it here. But yeah, so if you have any questions at all, hit me up on Twitter, or looking for any help with anything a little more like professional.
Yeah,
you can always reach out to me. I own Pixel River domain, obviously, so whether it's contact at pixelriverpr.com or Chris at pixelriverpr.com, I'm always open ears and looking to meet some more people. So reach out if you'd like.
Very, very awesome. Well, yeah. So again, one last time, thank you for. Sorry, I just got a text from my wife. Yeah, no, thank you so much for joining us and be on this show. Seriously, if people interested in PR stuff, or Chris is also just a cool guy, go talk to Chris.
Oh,
it's just my opinion in general. So there's that. But all right, so. Thank you all for joining. I just wrote this, like I redid the outro, so let me see if I can get through it. So thank you all for joining us this week. Until March 10th, the Constantly Calibrating Podcast is live every Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on mixer.com/ConCalPod. We're building up to our big goodbye show, and we're excited to celebrate the next few weeks with you all. Remember, if you got a memory of Constantly Calibrating or something you want us to read on the show related to something related, just anything related to ConCal, #goodbye ConCal. Just throw it up on Twitter. I will be checking that regularly. just anything. Also, if there is a guest that we've had on the show previously, like you want Chris Avalon to come back, or there's a guest we've never had before, hi Greg Miller, let us know. 2, let them know even louder. And be nice. Let's be clear. Let's not mob people. I do not condone that. But let them know. Let us know. We can make stuff work. Just because there's only 4 weeks of live shows left, the right guest comes along, I could be convinced to do a random extra show. Just putting that out there. I'm not against it. So let us know. Let them know. And hashtag goodbye ConCal. That being said, we're on Facebook at facebook.com/constantcalibrating, Twitter at ConCalPod. I'm at Bear Punch. Justin is at Justin_glorious. Check Instagram, instagram.com/constantcalibrating. Come chat with us, constantcalibrating.com/discord. And for these final few weeks, you want to leave us a review, that would be appreciated. I mean, get more attention on the show as we head out and go on to brand new adventures. So if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review, subscribe wherever. All those things are greatly, greatly appreciated. And with that, we bid you all a good sign off.